Howdy everybody in YouTube land. Well, what I want to do in this video is I want to triage those compact Macs. The plan is not really to save those because I wanted to strip these for parts to try to get all of my other ones in tip-top shape. But I also know that some of these actually might be salvageable. I don't know. My original intent was to get those so I can take the picture tubes out and put them in mine, which are in various states of disrepair. But as I look at these, I can pretty much tell that a lot of these are fried on their own. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can salvage here. Now that one might actually be alright. That one maybe. But that one's toast. That one's toast. That one is also toast. And that one is alright as well. It's not bad. Actually, I don't see anything. And this one, of course, the one with the best picture tube has to be the SE30. So, that one actually might be salvageable. I might be able to fix that one with a reloaded board if the chassis is not in that bad a shape. But also, it's very beat down. I don't know. We'll see. All of this stuff is beat down, but the goal is with this video though, is I want to go through each and every one of these, do an assessment and check repair viability to see if there's anything savable, if I can save the machine or if I'm going to part it out. Because the thing is, I've got this SE here, which is also pretty darn fried. I mean, you can even read it, it's so fried. Now, that SE there is my test rig. That one I use for testing boards, and the case to that one is really beat up and destroyed. So perhaps I can take one of these guys, like that one down there, and transplant some parts around and make one good one and just still keep it around for testing boards. But something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. But this video doesn't really have a whole lot of point except for triaging these machines. So I am going to start with this one because this one is the one that's up on the top here, and it's not worth saving because there's so much rub marks and destruction on the face, and it's a classic. But picture tube is
baked.
But I do want to go in there and I want to see how bad it actually is. And we're going to part it out, most likely. Let's check the internal components. Check the health of the CRT. Check the drive. Yada, yada, yada. So let's start with that one. Now we're in the light. We can see a little bit better. And this case is pretty beat up. So it's going into the scrap heap. But I don't see anything bad from the exterior. It was like this. So I didn't take this apart. I do not know what I'm going to find inside. Other than probably something completely battery bombed. So I'm just going to pull this apart. Property of Lebanon Community School Corporation. Here we go. Oh boy. This guy is toast. What's the bucket look like? Oh, oh no. That's bad. Well, I mean, to be fair, he's bombed. But, yeah. Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's junk. Yeah, that's just gonna be a hole in the metal chassis. That's this is garbage. Anywho, the motherboard is probably gone. Yep, I see the Maxell battery hiding out in there. You little rascal. We have a full-on memory expansion board, so we'll save you. And there's no sign of battery acid damage, so I will keep you. Looks like it was maxed out. It was, yeah, 1 megabyte. So, And then we have the original hard drive. It looks like a Connor drive. I don't know what shape it's in. It's hard to say, but I have a SCSI cable that we can save. So as I get it out of here, our floppy drive cable. Goodbye. Get you out of here. Never been apart. And there we go. Yeah, the flyback itself, let's see. Doesn't look bad, but that doesn't mean much. How bad are the capacitors? Probably, oh wow, yeah, that's pretty bad. So, yeah, this is rough. Sticky. We got this little Molex connector down here. We got to pull and remove. Yeah. All right. Well, floppy drive is probably all right, which is always a good thing. Oh yeah, that is seized. Oh yeah. Oh, the whole thing just completely broke free. Junk. It's completely destroyed. This is, yeah. Well, is it savable? No. It's not. We got max L battery. Alright, well, let me work on this and get this board out. Oh, yeah, buddy. That is gonzo. Well, good news is I have parts. So, I'm going to just rip everything off this board because this board's junk. It's going to go in my scrap bin. So I'm just going to peel off the caps so things don't get worse. They're so bad, they're just coming right off. They're not even trying. They make reloaded boards, so if the chassis wasn't as bad as it is, I could technically fix this machine. But it ain't worth it. It just isn't. So, yeah, man, look at that. That is totally trash. La 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 la. Garbage. Yeah, this is. Look here. There we go. Trash. Alright. Go neutralize that and then put this in my spare parts bin. Alright, well, I have that board isolated off. I washed it, neutralized it. I have it drying at the moment because, you know, I want to put it in a parts bin, but I don't want to put it in a parts bin with all the battery acid all over it because that would be a whole lot of bad. But you know what? I have a bunch of screws now that I can save, so that's a good thing. And it looks like the floppy drive did get it a little bit, but not too bad. So, anyways, there's not really any point to this video other than just people bored watching me tear computers apart and checking them out to see if any of them are salvageable. This one might be. If you soda blast all of this and, you know, patch in some metal, like weld in and grind down a piece of tin, steel, whatever. But I don't know. It's not really worth it. It just isn't. It's a classic one. I mean, it's not worth it. But anyway, let's see. Oh, look at this. Oh, so this hard drive has never been out before because the cable is still caught in the metal. The metal. So that means I gotta get in here with this. Bend that out. See if that'll get out there now. Yeah, it does. There we go. Save view. Whoa. Huh. 800 We Fix Max. So someone has worked on this before. 1993. So this has had some repair work. Yep, still has the original Connor drive. No signs of molten rubber disease, so there's a chance that that drive might actually work. Both drives, actually. So those will go in my spare parts. I might back up that drive just to see what's on it. Do I need to? No, not really. But I kind of like archaeology, and if this was a school computer, there might be some student-related time capsule stuff on there, like homework or short stories, or you never know what you're going to find, because I did that kind of thing when I was in school. Granted, I didn't have these machines in school. I had the newer stuff, the Power Macs. These machines are a bit before my time. When these computers came out, I didn't even know what a computer was. I was like 4 when this thing hit the market. So, you know. Anyways. Let's grab you. I want to pull the analog board. So I'm pulling all the parts off of here, and we're going to scrap the case, because the case is basically trash. There's no sense in me even keeping it because of how beat up it is. Now, if this case was in good shape, you could, convert this into like a modern retro Pico Mac with an LCD or something like that if you really wanted to, but not me. I've only got so much room, and I'm not going to do something like that. Not my cup of tea. So, anywho, will this even come undone? Yeah, it does. Wow. So, the caps aren't bad. This thing doesn't really have a whole lot of hours on it. I'm surprised. It's just lost by the battery. There we go. So, oh yeah, yoke connector. I think it's the same yoke as the SEs and all of that, which if that's the case, I'll just reuse the yoke. Need both hands for that. There. So we have an analog board. Let's see what we got. Impressively, the caps haven't puked everywhere. I've seen so many of these where the caps get so bad they corrode everything, and I'm wondering if it's just related not to just storage, but the number of hours it's been used. And yeah, the screen's got some burn in, but it's actually not that bad. So I am going to save the tube, and I'm going to write down on it how it tests, because it may be completely shot. I don't know, but so we're gonna save you out of the way. Actually, I'm gonna put that behind me, and then that leaves just these. And these screws are nice to have because they're kind of hard to get, and you always run into compact Macs with the screws missing. So you know what? I told you I'm saving every little component I possibly can, because this stuff is only getting more rare with time, and it's handy to have parts that I can use elsewhere. But yeah, this thing's shot. This chassis is gone, so not worth my time. I'm losing my magnetism. Yeah, there we go. If you really, 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 really wanted to save this thing, like I said, you could just, you know, possibly weld plates and grind down the metal chassis. But is it worth it to me? No. Maybe to somebody. But then the front cover screwed with the wear marks. And you can pick up these classics for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. They aren't worth much of anything. I'd rather take an SE over a classic. Okay. Damn. Ugh. It still spins, no bearing issues. We'll save you. And that, my friends, is the end of that. Alright. Now we're going to move along. Get you out of the way. I'm going to move along now. Alright, here we go. I think this is a 12 volt tube. So we got to move you up to 12 volts. No shorts. Set gun balance. Oh yeah, she dead. That tube is roached. Oh yeah. Now it could be a low bias tube, but I mean, I don't know. Let's set it to low bias, because I think low bias is what these tubes have to be tested at. This tube is not specifically in the manual because this thing's too old, but yeah, it's weak. It really is. But I guess the good news is I have excellent cutoff. So it should produce an okay picture, but it's not great. Yeah. So it's like 12.2. So not great. Not bad, but not great. Okay, moving right along. Next up, the Macintosh Plus, which sat just below the Classic. So this one is in okay shape. It's fairly yellowed. Some rub marks, but nothing too serious. Seems to be missing the board. Oh hell, it seems to be missing the floppy drive too. Really bad burn-in. So I don't think this is going to be any count either. Oh yeah, completely gutted, but all the screws are in there. So, all right, well, let me crack this thing apart, because I think, yeah, they went through the trouble of removing all of the guts, but yet they put the screws back in it. That's not even the right screws. Those are supposed to be fine thread, not coarse. So someone just put whatever in there. It's fine. Get in there, we go. Yeah, there's your fine thread. No, none of those screws are original. Well, the fine thread one might be, but it seems like the coarse thread ones went black. I don't know, that's weird. But yeah, they put them in backwards. Yeah, that doesn't go in there. No, they put them in reverse. But that should not be black. That's... Anyways, I don't know. So this one has, I guess they left the metal frame in there because I can see it. Alright, I need both hands. Oh, this gets more interesting. This has an Apple Care tag. Interesting. Okay. I've never seen that before on one of these, and it looks like there was something. I don't know why it's been gutted. That doesn't make sense. That was a royal pain to get apart. But I got it, and it is really high hour. Like, it's bad. It's how high hour it is. Look at that. So, I'm going to bet the CRT is going to test appropriately. And if that's the case, it's going straight into the e-waste as is. Because I need it for the picture tubes, and if that picture tube is no good, there's no point. So let's get this out of here, because none of that matters. So we're going to go ahead and get you. Put you like that. And we're going to grab you. I'm going to test this crap in real time. Alright, so I think it's 6. I don't even remember. We're going to find out. Nope. Shorts. So it's 5. Alright, so this one's got some pretty severe burn in. And I suspect this thing is going to test just as bad. Okay, no shorts. Filament 12. See if it comes up. It does. Plenty of cutoff. It's waking up. There's more cutoff on this tube than there was on the other one. No, it tests pretty much on 12. I mean, it's good, but that, when it comes to these kind of CRTs, that's actually kind of bad. So it is not. I mean, it's waking up. Just gonna give it time. If I put on normal bias, I can actually I can bring it up in normal bias. This tube has a lot more cutoff than the other one does. That the normal bias puts it way up to almost 14. Yeah. So, okay. I don't think the bias makes any difference when testing emissions. No, it's only there for cutoff. So on low bias, you know, I'm about 12.6. It's not much better than the other tube, but it has cutoff, which means with good cutoff, I could actually use this tube. It's not great, but it's not bad. So this one's more like a 12 point, I don't know, 12.5, 12.4, something like that. Anywho, actually, hold on. Let me warm that back up. Let me check the life test here. Not terrible. Not great, but not terrible. So this tube is usable. It's usable. It's horrible looking, but it's usable. It would produce a decent picture. Compared to the SE30 tubes I have, that would produce a decent picture. As far as the rest of it, I'm going to save the tube. I'll put it away. It's not great, but it's better than having a completely dead tube. I'll just say that. But as far as the rest of the chassis itself, it's not in terrible shape. It really isn't. Besides a little bit of cracking here, they all do that. It's not that bad because I have a Plus, a 512K upgraded Plus, which is what this one appears to be. That is in worse shape case-wise. A whole chunk of this is completely gone, and over here, and not great. So I'm going to probably hang on to this to put onto that one. I'll wash this up, see how it comes out, and see, you know, if this comes out and be better shape, then I'll use this case. But we'll see. So I set this one aside, and we're going to move on to the next one. Next up on the list is the last one in that left pile of 3 on the 6, is this little Macintosh SE Superdrive. Superdrives are getting kind of hard to find as far as the ROMs and the swim chip are concerned, but, you know, fairly yellowed, but otherwise in relatively decent shape. Screen is, unfortunately, you know, cooked, but it is what it is. So, as far as that's concerned, no frills, nothing crazy, no rusted ports or anything. So let's get you back to gear apart here. So, ooh, Asbury Technical Seminary, whatever that is. I wonder if they still exist, but I remember these stamped metal because my school district where I grew up was like that. So I grew up in Hamilton, Ohio. So I went to the Hamilton City School District, and I remember the Hamilton City schools on the same metal stamp, same type of exact setup there. So, anyways, this one doesn't look to be in bad shape externally. And, you know, if the SE is salvageable, I might try and fix it. And here's why. Because I have a spare motherboard that's missing its ROMs. And I might be able to... I think it's the reason why it's a parts board is because the SIM sockets are broken. And it's those angled SIM sockets. So I might actually be able to make this machine work. And I got like 4 SEs in that pile, so I think. No, or 3. I don't know. Yeah, magnetism again. La 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 la. Move you over there. At least I got a lot of screws left over. So my local trash collection transfer station has an e-waste bin, so I can throw some of this stuff in the e-waste that I know is scrap, like the screwed up cases that nobody's gonna want, I guess, unless you make a cat bed out of them or something, a aquarium. All right, I need both hands to get this thing off. All right, what do we have here? Well, we got the stock mini scribe drive, and I actually have 3 SEs that had the mini scribe, and I've only got 1 working drive now. So if I can get more of these drives that are good, the better. Looks like there's definitely some hours on it, although not as much as I've seen in a lot of cases. So this one, it also has the Samsung tube and not the Clinton. And what's behind door number 3 here? Ooh, look at you. Oh, definitely leaked through it. So you're definitely going to be hosed. I can pretty much tell you right now you're going to be hosed. Oh yeah, you can kind of see the discoloration there, but again, it doesn't really matter because I have SE boards. So if the chassis itself is not bad, then maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Ooh yeah, chassis is definitely hosed. That board is screwed, that's for sure. Let's see, how bad is it? Let's pull the cable. FDHD Macs are nice because at least you can... I mean, with the grease weasel and stuff today, it doesn't really matter so much. But back, 20 some odd years ago, it was great having an FDHD version because you could make a disk on your PC with HFV Explorer or any one of the other emulator utilities, and it will boot a real Mac. So you could bootstrap a machine by using a PC if you didn't have any other Mac. And I had to do that when I was a kid. I remember that. I had to actually use the SE30 in my keyboarding class that was retired. I would boot it, and then I made a boot disk on it so I could run an 800K SE, because an 800K SE was my first personal Mac. Got it from the thrift store for like $8.99. And anybody that's grew up in Hamilton probably has heard of Valley Thrift. And that was an amazing place as a child. Oh, ooh, oof. That is an omega oof. Yeah, I could sand that. I'm not, or I don't know. It depends. Depends on how bad that is. It doesn't look that bad. So again, I've got an SE board that's clean. It just is missing the ROMs, because I think the ROMs were pulled for another project and these were broken. So I could scavenge these RAM sockets, and I can, scavenge these ROMs and swim chip and go move it to the other board. Because hell with it, why not? So anyways, yeah, that's screwed. Bombolicious. Alright, well, I guess what I can do next is, I'm not going to pull all this out. Actually, I need to, but I don't think I'm going to do it right now, because I have other SEs I need to look at. So I'm going to leave this guy alone. I'm leaving that out, but I'm going to leave the rest of this alone, and we'll just kind of put it back together. Maybe, I don't know. I could take this mini scribe out and see if it will read and back up. And maybe towards the end of this video, I'll plug in all the hard drives and see what they do. Because archaeology is kind of another part of this that's fun for me. So let's do that. Anyways, I'm going to put this thing back together temporarily for now, and we're going to move on to the next SE. I want to go through all the SEs first, just to triage them and see which ones are the worst ones out of all of them. And then the best one of the three I'll make work. And then the other two will get scrapped out. And then the case will go to another machine. And then that's it. We're going to part them all out. But actually, let me step back. I'm going to test this tube real quick. All right, so here we go. This is hard to do because if I'm not careful, I will neck this like that. Now, you know what? I need both hands for this one. All right, that's a better angle. So, turn the power on, set filament adjust, 12.6 volt, no shorts, set gun balance, see if it comes up. Yeah, it's kind of a poor cutoff. Because you notice, other tube was way up in here with the cutoff. So, what that means is, the worse your cutoff range is, the worse your contrast is going to be. You're not going to have as much dynamic range between your blacks and your whites. So, it'll look more muddy, in other words. It might have a bright picture, but it's going to be muddy. It's not going to be very clear, if that makes sense. So, anyways, check emissions, and that one's weak. Definitely weak. Because I bet if I bring the filament up, it's going to come up and then fall. Yeah, it's definitely weak. Because if I... Yeah, that's a weak picture tube. So this one's definitely a weak tube. And judging by how burnt in it is, I'm not surprised. So I'm going to let this cook for a bit and see if that improves. But with the low cutoff and poor... Yeah. I've got no cutoff at all in the normal range. None. Yeah, none whatsoever. Which is not a good sign. She's tired. Definitely tired. Alright. Mark that up appropriately. With that one aside, next up we have this one. Now this one is another SE, but this one carries the FD-HD badge. Now unfortunately it looks like it's got damage from being thrown in a bin. So The badge has been damaged, so this case is probably not worth salvaging. This machine's probably not worth salvaging, to be fair. But, oh, it's got a disc in there, stuck. So we have that. Yeah, that's basically done. So I'm going to see how that cleans up. If that cleans off without affecting the screen print, maybe I'll save it. But I suspect not. No, it's destroyed the screen print for sure, but whatever. Yep, severely burned in. So we have that going for us. Clean that off so I can see it better. Yeah, you can see the menu bar. Definitely see the file edit, but everything else is all blurry where it's changed programs many times. So, and then we got sticker residue in the front, and in the back we have property of Ravenna City Schools, and then there's the metal tag. These things have been all over the place. It's kind of crazy. All of these are from different, and I think the story behind these was, CJ was telling me, it's like, I think System Source got all of these, like one big e-waste lot deal from another recycler out in, I don't know if it's Illinois or Indiana or one of those places is where all these came from, and they were going through them, and then the stuff that they didn't need for their museum, they put it all out on the floor, either for e-waste free or for sale. And I get it, because having all this stuff is overwhelming. And I've got just a tiny room in comparison to what they have, and it's already overwhelming for me. Because my goal is to tailor my collection to very specific machines plus some spare parts, and that's it. I don't need any more. The rest of this is either to be kicked down the road, or I use them for parts to fix other people's stuff. Because there's been times where I've gotten bombed boards, or not bombed boards, but bad boards, and I've had to pillage them for parts to keep more expensive and more desirable machines running, like the Macintosh Portable. Anywho, it looks like they've colored this one so they wouldn't get confused which one's plugged in where. So it looks like they used a local printer, most likely a image writer. Anyways, let me get this lid off. Ooh, yeah, this one's got even more hours on it. Look at that. So this is that hygroscopic glue, and the more brown and corrosive it turns, the more heat that it was exposed to. So if this is still nice and yellow, it's much lower hours. So you can actually use this as an hour meter. So the browner, darker, more corrosive it looks, the more hours are on the machine. So once again, we still have our stock hard drive. Let's see what we have going on in here. No signs of battery leakage on the shield. So that's good. But we definitely have it, because you can see it coming through the board. So this is once again another one of those bombed ones. Let's see how bad this one is. It's hard to navigate around that plug because they've got this thing squeezed in there so tight. Well, I tell you what, let me just pull the cable. And I fear that this CRT is going to be just as bad, if not worse, than the last one. A lot of these machines, especially from schools, were rode hard and put away wet. They spent hours and hours and hours of time being enjoyed by kids. Yeah, that's not coming out. Yeah, more chassis damage. Not surprised. So we have plugs. Oh, I can smell it. It is terrible. You can smell the strong bass of the battery. It's really bad. All right, let's see. I'm pretty sure all these machines were checked out for viability. Yeah, this is another one. Another Maxell bomb with a nice bloated capacitor. Yeah, that's bad. Sometimes I don't like to pull these out by hand because some of these are still wet. Like the last one, I didn't get it on camera, but it was still soaking wet underneath it. Like it had just started. Yeah, see, it's still wet. Oh, I can smell it. It's really, really bad. Yep, that one's... Yeah, I'm going to have to soda blast all of those. Not a big deal. If I wanted to save it, I could soda blast it. So, what I'm going to do, again, I'm triaging all of these. Yeah, it's got the power supply too. What I'm going to do is wash this board real quick like I did the last one, just to get all this off of there. And then I'm going to test this tube and see where it stacks up. Alright, so let's see where we are with this one. Leave it on low bias. Turn it on. Set filament. 12.6 volt. No shorts. Set gun balance. We've already coming up on gun balance. But our cutoff range is kind of similar where we were before, and although not quite as low. But still nothing in the normal range, so that's going to be noted down as low cutoff. So, and that could be the difference between Samsung and Clinton tubes. I need to get another Clinton tube to check that, because I've noticed it. So I test all of these in low, which is going to make the emissions read lower. Oh, this is like 12 point... Yeah, I don't know, 12.3. Which is not terrible, because here's the thing. Bias adjustment doesn't do anything, and if I turn the... Yeah, this is why this is not really a good test. But I can't turn the cutoff up at normal. So we're just going to do low bias. And then we're going to do check emission, and it's about 12.5, 12.4, and it's falling actually a little bit. Could be line voltage fluctuations too, but yeah, it's about where the last one was. So we're in the same ballpark. Alright, let's button that one back up and let's move on to the next one. And here is our third and final SE. Now, upon first glance, we've definitely got some gouges in the plastic. Yeah, that's not going to want to clean up from probably being thrown in an e-waste bin. A Gaylord or whatever you want to call it. So this one is another FDHD. So this is the third one in a row. And this one has burn-in, but not nearly as pronounced as any of the other ones. This is very, very, very light. Light enough to where it's probably alright. And on the rear, we have... Let me just move this down. Well, Culinary Institute, yet a different place. So, alright. Well, that doesn't bode well from what I'm about to see inside. When you got the acid leaking out from the rear port. Yeah, that's no. Alright, well, let's see what we got inside going on here. Oh, we got a black powered switch compared to a white one. And they did vary that. I can't remember. I think that might be the Sony one. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong many, many, many times before. But Culinary Institute, I wonder if it has any good recipes on there. That would be interesting. 1980s, early 90s culinary arts recipes. You never know. Chef Gordon Ramsay could have trained on this thing. I doubt it, but wouldn't that be funny? I've had this screwdriver since my childhood. I remember when I bought it at the Sears right there on the corner of Sims Road and Route 4, which I don't know what's there now, but it's not obviously not Sears anymore, but it was right around the corner from my house, so I just went there and bought it. Okay, yep, I need both hands again. Alrighty then, behind door number 3. Yep, that tracks. much lower hours. Notice it's not nearly as black. So we've got that going for us. Yet another mini scribe hard drive. Yep, that is the Sony power supply. No signs of corrosion on this besides where the ports go. It's bombed, which, I mean, I knew they were. I got them that way. But it's the severity of the bomb. Because I am curious if I can take one of these three and actually make it work again. Turn it into a working machine. But the best of the picture tubes, though, are going into SE30s because SE30s are more valuable and more sought after than SEs. But SEs do deserve a special place. That's not the dumpster. But, anywho, let's see, what do we have? Let's see how bad this guy actually is. Ooh, yeah, buddy. Wow. Yeah, definitely ate that one alive. Chips are in good shape. That's fine. Well, maybe. I could probably get replacement pins. Yeah, it looks like it's been stored face down for so long that it ran down in that direction. So it's probably killed the RAM here. But the chassis is also bombed, but not as bad as the other ones. Either way, we're going to have to, like, you know, sand it down or something. I don't know, but yeah, this is terrible, but let's get you out of there. Ugh. Yeah. Fun. Alright. Well, time to go wash this board up. Alright. Now that that's been cleaned, let's take a look at how this one tests. Because, I don't know. Okay, this means every time, I'm pretty sure it goes right here. Yeah, I always get these two confused because one will read shorted and one doesn't. Alright, we got that one right. So check filament, turn you up, no shorts, check gun balance. Yeah, that one's even worse. Again, another Samsung tube. Now, that one has the least amount of burn and the least amount of hours, so I'm starting to wonder here. So we still got still low cutoff. But we have cutoff at least. What is the emissions test like? Yeah. We are 12.7, which reflects 12.8. Because there's 13. So it's like 12.8 roughly. So yeah, it's reading better. Solid life test. So we're good there. Alright, so this one definitely checks the way I would suspect it's going to check for a tube that has minimal burn in. So that one is reading around 12.8. Low bias. So this is going to be 12.8 low cutoff. Alright, let's get this thing put back together and out of the way and move on to the next one. Alright, so now we're going to save the best for last. And that is a Macintosh SE30. This one is also a little bit rough, but not super rough. This is actually clean compared to some of the ones I've seen. CRT has almost zero burn. It's not even noticeable. So this thing does not have many hours on it at all. That picture tube is basically new. So that's a good thing. And then on the back side we have A lot of damage and rub marks on the rear of the bucket. God, look how yellow it is. This was exposed to light. Oh, we're missing a shield. So, this is not going to bode well. Oh, that one came off single-handedly. Alright, well, we still have the original Quantum 40 megabyte drive. The flyback is still nice and perfect. That's the color you want to see. That's low hours. So this thing has a lot lower hours than I would think it would. Oh, we definitely got bombs down there, though. Bucket looks good. It's definitely saved the best for last. CRT is clean. There's hardly any dirt in here at all. Whoa, that's not stock. This thing has had a repair done to it before. No, 1990. This is original. That is original. So, they made these with... Wow, okay. So, that makes me wonder if this was a late model run. Interesting. Normally, I don't see that at all. That's a first. Anyways, let's pull these out. Actually, I can pull, now that this will pull straight out, I can actually remove that. So I want to see how bad this logic board is. Now, if the chassis is not that bad, this machine's worth saving. Now, I'm going to take the CRT out if it's good and put it in a better condition SE30, because I've got another SE30 that has a bad CRT. So I'd rather do that and then just put whatever in here. But regardless of what I put in here, it's definitely worth saving, and I'll probably kick this one down the road to anyone who's interested in an SE30, or 3 of them, because I have 3 of them I want to get rid of once I get them all fixed right. Alright, I need both hands. Wow, that was a pain to get off of there. There we go. Alright. So, what's behind door number? I lost track. Ooh, yeah, that one's also pretty toasty. Oh, wow, look at that mountain. That is mind-blowingly crazy. So, there's the floppy drive, and the chassis is not bad. That's fixable. I can clean that. I could probably use navel jelly or whatever. This is going to be worth fixing. Clean up the case, put a reloaded board in here, swap around CRTs and put that one in a better unit and put whatever in here. Yeah, I could actually get this thing going and get someone an SE30, because an SE30 is a lot more desirable. So, anyways, this board's junk. Yeah. Not good. Alright, well, let me clean this board up and get this picture tube tested. This thing should test really good. So this is my control. Alright, last but not least, let's take the picture tube here. So I'm going to power it on, no shorts. Set the filament voltage to 12.6 volts. Gun bounce. Whoa, look at that. See, this is where it needs to be. See what I mean? Look at that. So if I put it on normal, I'm up here. This is where it's supposed to be. But then again, this is a Clinton tube. This isn't a Samsung tube, so that might be why that is. There's a difference. Anyway, so let's check our, right there, emission. Yeah, the emissions are the same in low bias mode. They're the same. So, now if I go in here and put this on normal bias and crank it up, yeah, we're way up there. So this is way up there. So we're in like, what, 14? That tube is strong. Strong, which you can tell. You can just tell. So, now I bet if I do a live test, solid. Not even dropping. So we're good. Let's go back to gun balance, go back to low bias, set you to low, because I test all these on low, because the Samsung tube, I can never get normal bias to work properly. So let's do low bias. So we're going to do, your emissions are like 12.6, just like the last one, 12.6, but it has amazing cutoff. So I think what we're going to do is just do normal bias, emission, yeah, 14. So our emission is 14. Awesome. This tube is amazing. This is exactly what I wanted to be. The emissions is still in range as the other ones, but it has much better cutoff. So this is going to produce a much more crisp, deep contrast picture compared to the other ones. And it tracks, because look how low hour it is. So this is worth restoring. In fact, I'm probably going to take this analog board and CRT and move it into an SE30 that's in much better shape. It's actually in mint condition, but it's got a ton of hours on it. But otherwise, it's in mint condition. So I'm thinking I'm going to take that, put it in there, put that stuff in here, you know, powder coat, or, you know, soda blast the chassis and put a reloaded board in here, at least get it working, and put a decent CRT in here anyways. Not great, but decent. Anywho, well, that's it for all the CRT tests. That's it. So I think what I'm going to do next is I want to try to spin up and image all the drives with the Blue SCSI, if I can. That's a big, fat if, because I don't know. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with the Connor from the Macintosh Classic. Now, a lot of times with these old hard drives, you only get one shot at this. So I want to make sure my setup is the way it needs to be, so I can try to do Blue SCSI initiator and back this drive up. Because a lot of the times they'll energize one time, you might be able to read it, and then the heads will get stuck, or they'll crash, or whatever, and then the data's gone forever. So I just want to make sure that I have the best shot possible. So there it goes. You can hear it. It's copying right now. I forget what it does when it gets done. It's been so long. But that drive fired right up. Wow. And that is it. That was quick. It spins it down and then starts blinking, so you know it's done. So unplug the power, take the SD card out, and then we're going to copy that to the computer, and then we're going to move on to the next drive. All right, so this is the Ravenna City Schools drive, and I just pulled it out, and you can tell this thing was not parked when it was shut off. What that means is they cut the power off to it. Someone turned this thing off for the last time ever, and that's where it ended up. They didn't shut it down, because when you shut it down, it'll park the head. Unfortunately, they didn't do that, so it's where it's stuck right there. And of course, it's frozen solid. So with these mini scribes, you kind of have to free these guys up before they'll start to even work again, because the motor's all gummed up, and it's not going to want to. Yeah. With a little bit of lubrication later, see if this drive frees up. Ooh. Ooh. That's bad. I don't think this is gonna run. Ugh. Yeah, this is bad. Head crash. This is the park position. And it wasn't in the park position. This is why it's dead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, not good. Yeah, this is really, really bad. So, Mr. What is it? Ravenna City Schools, that date is probably gone. Alright, so what's behind door number 1? Oh, yeah, you're done. Yeah, that's toast. That sucks. Yep, that head's junkerific. Yeah, that's done. The platter's lost its lubricant. That's why it does that. Too bad, so sad, Ravenna School District. Well, I guess those secrets shall remain secrets indefinitely. So, alright, I'm going to put this back together loosely and move on to the next one. Well, let's move on to the next one. Let's see. Let's see here, Asbury Theological Seminary. Let's see what secrets you hold. You know, the one thing I cannot get over camera is just how terrible these things smell. They smell like an old, dusty shop factory floor. I don't know how to explain it. It's just bad. I mean, not just the lithium bomb aside, it smells like an old dirt factory. I don't know. Anyways, pull these drives. This time, what I want to do, instead of just trying to move the head back and forth and free it up, I want to pop the cover off the top of the platter or the drive and look at the platter to see how bad it is. Because I may spin it up first, and then while it's spun up, try to free up the heads. Because, yeah, we'll see. So that is what the platter is supposed to look like. Oh, yeah. We'll have to see how that works. So I'm going to try to free that head up. All right, got the stepper lubed, so hopefully that works. I don't know, it's not great. I'm going to probably turn it like this and just kind of let that oil work down a bit because it's bumpy. So we'll let it run. We'll see what happens. There we go. Nope. Not good. This is not happy. Ooh, yeah. Not happy. Not at all. These mini scribes are just all scrap these days. It just sucks. Well, let me fiddle with this for a bit. Switch the boards. We're getting different behavior. I don't know if that's good or bad or what. But it's, yeah. This is a fighting losing battle, but hey. Ooh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna find out. Definitely have media degradation going on because there's a lot of bad sectors. It's trying, though. But this one also might be a lost cause. Holy crap, I think I got the data. Let's see how many bad sectors there were. Well, retrying. It failed on sector 0. Yeah, I don't know. So we got, yeah, the first 2 sectors are dead. Whoa, we got every sector. No, we got one right here that's dead. Yep. We got a few bad ones. But there might be enough there. The only problem is, because these first 2 sectors are dead, that's a problem because that contains the volume header. So we're going to have to use tools to try and recover the files off that volume. If, you know, because I doubt the partition's going to be there. So I bet if I go in this file and say, oh, I hate Windows 11. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Hex Workshop. There we go. You know what? It might have got this thing. Oh, boy. Demo, documents, colors. Claris Works. These are the resource forks. MacWrite. User Dictionary. These are all the resource forks. Super Paint. Nursing Home. Yeah, that's going to have to go to... You can kind of see where there's missing. There's student files. Yeah, we got to be careful. Oh, there's the system folder. Student user file. Word study. Claris Works. So, yes. Nice. We do have... Oh, yeah. We do have data. We have data. That is awesome. So I'm going to save that. Actually doing another pass. And the more it runs, the better it gets. I find that interesting. I wonder if the head's got too much oxidation buildup on it. And as it runs, it's wearing the head gap down a bit. But it's getting better the more it runs. Interesting. This time it didn't fail to read sector 0 and 1. So why not do another pass? Because this is normal. Yeah, it did. It completed. Wow. It actually completed it. And I think it only stopped once in the very beginning. So I bet that file has even more data than the previous one. So let's take a look. Oh yeah. Yep, 20 megabytes. Read failed. We're going to retry it. It succeeded. Retry, succeed. Retry, succeed. Retry, succeed. So, oh yeah, there's a timeout. That's when I stuck the SD card in after the fact. See, yeah. Wow, it only failed 4 times, and after a retry, it was fine. This failed twice, but it was fine. So we got all of the data. Failed to transfer, retrying, it read it. We got all of the data. We got it all this time around. Wow. So that drive is actually starting to become healthy the longer it runs. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need to run for a while to let the platter grind down on that head a little bit. It just could be oxidation buildup. I don't know. I'm not a hard disk engineer. I'm just throwing darts at the wall, talking out of my ass, but that's a good sign. All right there, Asbury Theological Seminary. Your secrets may actually be revealed after all. So I'm going to make a note on this drive. I'm not putting it back in the machine. I'm going to leave it out because I would never use it. But I'm just going to write on here mostly okay because this drive does have a chance of fully, recovering all the way up. And I noticed the platter squeak has gone down the more I used it too. So that's a big thing. The next SE and final SE on the list is the one from the Culinary Institute, whatever that is. Let's see what secret recipes you're hiding. And here's our third and final mini scribe. Can we get 2 out of 3? Nobody knows. But at least this one looks like it was parked when it was shut down. So it's in the parked position, I think, anyways. A little bit of rust. Slightly bit concerned. Once again, I'm going to take the platter cover off and check the platter to see what it looks like. Because, yes, it's not like these drives will ever return to active service. This is more for archaeological purposes. Alright, well that one's all nice and shiny still, so let's go ahead and get you back together and let's loosen that motor up. Alright, so I got some oil in the bearing and I've worked at it a little bit. Yeah, the balls are a little screwed because it wants to grab in a weird spot right there, but I don't know, we'll see. It might throw a servo error. Ah, yeah. Well. Yeah, it's going to keep doing that. And this is going to take some exercising to get this good again, because the other drive was doing the exact same thing. It can't read that sector. So I will bring you back if anything changes. There we go. There's a lot of retry loops though. Bad sectors. Now the other drive was doing this too, and after I let it run for a while, 2 or 3 times, it eventually cleaned itself up. So this drive might be the same. But we'll see. Alright, I got it. All of it except for sector 2341. So 2341 is bad. So I'm going to let this drive run some more, and then we're going to do another read just to verify that 2341 is indeed a bad sector. Otherwise, the drive seems to be happy and it seems to be working fine. And the critical sectors like sector 0 are good, because if sector 0 was bad, you wouldn't be able to use this drive on anything, because you got to have sector 0 and 1 at least for the file systems. 2341 is still bad, so we're just going to have to mark that on the top of the drive that it is a bad sector. Now, doing a low-level format, that might clear up, but it also might not. The drive seems healthy otherwise, so that's a good thing. So I actually have a working mini scribe. So, just one bad sector. And who knows, it could have been bad from the factory. Well, let's see what secrets you have, shall we? Entitled folder, now software, a bunch of those, fonts. Fun screensavers, Tecton, Snyder speed, I don't know. Definitely more fonts, for sure. After Dark, ooh. The brick in the wall, some fun stuff on this drive. Control panels disabled. Looks like it's running System 7. Quicken 4. Flying toasters. Yay! Norton Utilities. Coconut chicken. Well, there's the culinary art stuff, so it's original. Sounds good. This copy 4.2, file sharing. Yeah, this is definitely like invoice. Ooh, 1996. They're using this thing late in the game. Anyways, so there we go. We actually have a working drive for the most part. No, this is probably a controversial topic, but this is what makes these computers special for me. Is the hard drives and what they were used for. They're time capsules. It's the archaeology behind the data and how it was used and what's been stored on it and all of that. And like I said, it's controversial because you could have people's wills on here. You could have personally identifiable information such as bank account records, Quicken, stuff like that. Now, none of that I don't care about. I'm not saving any of that. But for me, what it matters to me is it's a time capsule. It's like an archaeological dig. Otherwise, this is just another plain Jane SE, and there are a dime a dozen, and they're still everywhere. So as far as outside of what the computer was used for, it doesn't mean anything to me. So I find the thrill of the chase not so much just the acquisition of the item, but also what was its history, how was it used, what was it stored on it. It's archaeology essentially. So, anyways, yeah, moving right along, we have one more left, and that is the SE30. So there we are, Culinary Institute. Your secrets have been revealed. Now, the SE30 has no identifying marks as to who owned it. So I do not know, what we're going to find on this thing. This one's going to be trickier because it's a quantum drive, and these have the rubber in it that tends to turn to goo. So I'm just going to connect this guy straight up and see what happens, because it can't hurt. Because why not? I'm just going to leave them in the little caddy here, and we're going to try to connect power into you, which is going to be easier said than done because of how short these cables are. I'm using this power supply because I don't have a Molex splitter for my external power adapter. So here we go. Oh! No. No. She gone. That is bad. She did not want to come to life. Ugh. So we got 3 out of 5? Yeah, that's right. We got 3 out of 5. Yikes. Alright, well. Not good. Let me reset the blue SCSI here. No. She's gone. Gone. Well, I am going to say, just by how the surface of this looks, and there's no head there, that we've had a lot of ingress of moisture and other things. So whatever this SE30 did will also forever remain a secret. Yeah, that's not good. No. Not good. Alright, well, that is going to be 3 out of 5 drives we were able to read. So, that is it for all of these. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't save all the hard drives. We were able to get the data from 3 of the 5 anyways. So, hey, I'm surprised the mini scribes actually came alive, at least 2 of the 3. And the third one, the SE30 one, was, well, you saw what happened to that. And I took a closer look at the bracket, and there's rust on the side of the bracket. So I'm thinking a little bit of the lithium fumes got into the drive, and, well, there you go. That's all it takes. So, anyways, these are the boards. This is what we have left. And just doing a quick overview. So this is the SE30 board, and this is after washing them down real quick. Yeah, that's pretty messy. Now, if you were dedicated enough, you could probably clean all this up, patch out the vias, and make this thing run. You'd have to replace the ROM sim and the socket, but you could probably make that board run. For me, it's not worth it. I'd rather take the parts off of this board and build a reloaded board. It just makes more sense. The classic is scrap. Could you save that? Yeah, probably. If you were a big bad biologist, maybe. But not me. It's not worth it for me. So I'm going to part that out. I can use the swim chip onto other platforms, like the portable. So that one won't be saved. This one will be, but it will be with a different board. And then that just leaves the SEs. So there's all three of our SEs, and they're in various states of disrepair. That one is really bad. I don't think, and I'm worried about how this stuff got damaged too, because, yeah, that's going to be impossible to find. This one may become a parts board. This one is the same deal. It's pretty bad through here. However, on this one, the board itself is actually decent. Except for that it got a little bit on this chip, and of course it ran down and got onto the RAM sim and socket, so that's bad. That would have to be replaced. But same thing with the BBU socket. It would have to be changed as well, which I could pull one from here. And it's interesting to note how many different vendors they used. I mean, look at this versus, this. But so out of the three boards, I could probably get one of these boards to work. And then I have another one of these as a parts board in my bin. I'm pretty sure I do. Maybe one or two. I don't know. I ended up giving one away, I think. So I could get one of these three SEs working, maybe two. But honestly, with the shape of the plastics on some of those, with the shape of the CRTs, it's really not worth it. I may get one working just to get working. I definitely will get the SE30 going. And I think that's going to be it. The rest of it's going to be parted out. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to do a quick analysis to figure out what I got, what I'm going to save, and what I'm not. And I think we'll do follow-up videos on these and see where we get with them. So anyways, the next analysis video is going to be on these LCs that are in the floor. Because if we've got a very similar theme going, battery bombed or whatnot. So now that we have them all out in front of us, we kind of know where we are as far as the shape of the CRTs are in. That one I forgot to write down, but whatever. This one I did. And I noticed the cutoff bias is different between the Samsung and the Clinton. Clinton needs far less voltage, where the Samsungs need more, but I don't know. You could just tell by the emissions that they're tired. So anyways, that's it for this particular video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Please feel free to leave a comment if you have one. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.